Do you have any recommendations for young researchers in fostering sustainability research?
Yeah, I once wrote a chapter a few years ago together with my colleague Gert Hoeminen, and at the end of this chapter we put forward some recommendations. It were 3 recommendations for sustainability researchers, not only for young researchers, but also for maybe older researchers. And the first one is, or at least looks, quite simple. It's be modest. Be modest on your research results. And so do not pretend that the knowledge you acquired is the overall truth. What you discovered in a lab setting is not always transferable to real life situations. And so we often hear these are the facts, but what does that mean? Yeah? I think we have to be aware that we can only use these facts in the proper scale or against an appropriate background. So I think here I follow Bruno Latour and other science sociologists as well, and they say, please do not spread out a lab truth all over the world as a kind of overall truth. And maybe we should add here another thing as well. So sustainability researchers are often confronted with the critique, yeah, you are too engaged, please be more neutral, please. But what does that mean? What is neutral science? Is that the dominant way how we do research or how we tackle problems? I think this dominant way, this science regime, to use the words from transition thinkers, is also full of normative points of view and also normative frameworks. But because it is the mainstream, I think the normative character seems gone. And I know this is a quite difficult section. Epistemology is related to an interesting but complex research layer or research element, but it's very important to understand the relativity of truth. And maybe to end this first suggestion, I will quote maybe Sheila Jesanoff. It's one of the main thinkers in the field of science and technology, and she says, and this quote is more food for thought. She says that the way in which we know and represent the world, so both nature and society, are inseparable from the way in which we choose to live in it. So be modest, please. That's the first one with that. But I hope that this suggestion will not cause a kind of paralysis, and therefore the second suggestion is be immodest modest. So, sounds a little bit strange, but that means that I hope that researchers will take responsibility for sustainability challenges, and that they don't use a weak interpretation of sustainability. And so that's the immodest element. Please use a transformative or reform approach. Be an engaged researcher. And to be clear, and that's something on academic freedom. I think academic freedom is very important, but we have to be aware that the combination of engaged knowledge and top scientific research is possible. So they do not exclude each other. So don't forget the first suggestion as well. So be reflective while you are an engaged researcher, of course. And my third suggestion is, try to experiment a bit. Put sometimes the dominant and therefore easy research model between brackets. So go for a balanced mix, what Gibbons and Novotny call a mode 1 approach and a mode 2 approach. And the mode 2 approach is the new one, is the more sustainable one, at least for wicked issues. And I think the last one, so the mode 2 approach is really underdeveloped within university. And so try to cope with or to acknowledge uncertainties and not only clear-cut facts. Also bring in long-term thinking. For instance, try to think in an explorative way and not only in a predictive manner. Another thing is confronted with wicked issues. So once again, try to create an inter or a transdisciplinary setting. That's not easy, but yeah, dare to fail and learn from that failure and reflect on that. And a fourth one is maybe involve users of your research, and why not use them also to review your research results. At the moment, it seems that only peers are able to review our papers. So the Web of Science religion put that between brackets. You know, the rat race for peer-reviewed journal articles. So these are important elements, and I hope this will help young researchers in their struggle with sustainability issues, and definitely when they are confronted with wicked issues. So with no right answer, but with a lot of different stakes, with different interpretations, with different norms and values, with different uncertainties, and so on. So these are more or less some recommendations for sustainability researchers.